Hello there, this is Heirs to the Kingdom channel, and in today's lesson we're finishing up Micah, doing chapter 7, last chapter of Micah. If you are new to this is a Bible study channel where I'm going through the King James Bible in order, explaining things as we go along, showing what I've learned, what I'm still learning, a lot of stuff I wished I knew when I was younger. I'm hoping to reach younger people now that trying to follow God without being misled by the world first, because you do get to an age of the point of no return on your first life. It will happen. Women find this out after they hit the wall, that it's called, when they realize they can't have, their likelihood of having children has gone away, and they've alienated men following feminism, and then next thing you know, no man wants them, and they can't find a husband and can't have a family no more. There is a point of no return, even for men. Men can have children till the day they die, but their likelihood of finding, someone to share their life with, the older they get, falls dramatically. Same thing about jobs, having a job that you can retire from. Or start saving for retirement. A lot of people don't think about it until, I got 10 years to retirement, now I'll start saving. That ain't enough time. It's not. You have to start saving from day one and putting into like CD accounts and stuff of that nature that double. Like you have you get, I'm not really a money marketing guru, an expert on it, but if I would have known a lot more stuff when I was younger, I would have bought like $100 CDs that double, I think, after 5 or 10 years. And, I would have bought, at least once or twice a month. I mean, once or every month or every 2 months. Dyslexia kicked in there. My head knew what I wanted to say. My mouth said, screw it. This is what's going to come out, and it ain't going to be right. But, whatever you can save, you have, CDs are normally a little bit more money. I think, what do they call those? Savings bonds is what I was trying to think of. I had to pause everything. I'm sitting it's like not money order. Savings bonds is one of them. They'll double, I think, in like 8 years. I think CDs are like $500. They'll double in a certain amount of time. I wished I would have known about credit unions. Credit unions have a high end. Like I'm part of a credit union now, and I have 3.56% interest on like a checking account. It's weird they don't do it on the savings account, but it is on a checking account at the one I deal with. Anyways. But this is just money that you can get free of investing, and it sits there and collects interest, and you don't touch it. You just forget it even exists. But I didn't know. I didn't have anybody teaching me anything. Like God's Word, knowing God's Word would have helped me out dramatically. I have a lot of knowledge I can give to people now. I wished I had when I was younger. I never got to have any children to teach them my pearls of wisdom. So I'm hoping to reach some people out there that kind of need advice like that. But if you're young, starting out, and you want to save money for retirement and stuff of that nature, get in with stuff like that, like a credit union, high-end account, interest rates accounts and stuff. Investing in CDs when they mature, you kind of there's one that you can do. It's a rollover that you can just keep, adding to it, and it doubles and doubles and doubles, and you just leave it alone. Forget it even exists. But, as I said, I'm not an expert in that. I know some things about a lot of that. But once you get to a certain age group, it's too late. Unless you are now making six figures and can invest over half your paycheck into stuff like that, and like say you're making 120K, 20K in taxes, so you get 100K left over, and then you take 50K, invest it, and it's a high-end yield interest accounts, and you live off the other 50. Then you can do something. Most people that never happens. Young men's problem is they're too busy chasing. When they're young, they're chasing. And we end up chasing the wrong stuff. Most of us, I ain't gonna lie, we're taught to chase girls. Get a job, get a car, fix up the car, chase girls, try to go on dates, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sorry, that's the worst thing you can do, especially in today's time. Most women out there are feminists. You do not want to date them things. You definitely don't want to marry them. You don't want to have anything to do with them because they will lead you astray. Now, if you're a woman and you follow feminism, I'm sorry, but that's Satanism. You gotta throw that stuff in the trash. God's ways are God's ways. World's ways are world's ways. And the worldly ways are not God's ways. And God's ways are not worldly ways. You have to follow God. And a lot of women learn this way too late in life. They learn, like the Bible says, a woman that does not desire a husband and birthing children is useless in the eyes of God. Other parts of the Bible say a woman can't even be saved unless she's in childbearing. That means she has a husband that she's serving and she's trying to bear children. I was listening to something to Tim Pool today. And I think it was something I posted a day or two ago, but either or, it's one of his long shows. It was a live show, and then they post it later on. But he's talking about marriage rates dropping in America, and they keep talking about the one guy sitting there talking about, women searching careers, and this is happening, and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, well, in the old times, women were by social order. If they didn't have a husband, they were thought wrong or this, that, and the other. So that they did it to be a part of the social norm and everything else, because women, they bragged about their husbands and their homes and their children. Now they brag about their careers and their own income. It's like, it wasn't about bragging about, husbands, children, this, that, and the other. It was they followed God. This is what God told a woman to be and do, and they did it. They always missed that very important part, that this was God's country. America was God's country. In 1920, women were given the right to vote, and that was way wrong. That was starting going against God. But most women did not join into that. Said, okay, we have a right to vote, doesn't mean I'm going to do it. Because it says a woman's to have no authority over any man. But then it's like the 1960s is when it hit hard of the sexual revolution. Everything went back crazy. Feminism came out. There's like that was known as the second wave of feminism, and it's like it's still Satanism. Doesn't matter. Women demanding rights instead of demanding to be more godly. Godly women know and godly men know that this first time of life is a tryout to get into heaven, to see which team you get. Do you get heaven or get hell? Which team did you serve? There's a life after this. But yeah, if you're a man and the women around you are all been de-virginized, as you would say, they have all lost their virginity, they're technically married. In the eyes of God, they're married to the man that took their virginity. So can you have anything to do with them? Not really. Not if you want a blessed marriage. But a young man has to find a young woman that's still a virgin. It's like, it's good luck. Most of them are losing their virginity around the age of 13. They're taught that it's something fun to do. That you don't want to hold on to it too long. You'll be thought bad of. So women are bad about falling into peer pressure. Like I said, I wish there was a lot more stuff I would have known when I was younger, because it would have kept me from making a lot of bad decisions as I got older. And then when you get to a certain age, You've learned a lot, but you can't undo the damage that's already been done to your life. You're kind of stuck in it. Whatever it is, you're stuck in it. And the good thing is to just not get in that situation to begin with. So that's what I'm hoping to do here, especially when it comes to learning and following God's Word. But yeah, there's only 20 verses. We're going to be reading something here that's also in New Testament. And a little bit. Like I said, there's nothing new under the sun. The Bible teaches that. And everything that we have to obey from Old Testament's in New Testament. Everything that we're told in New Testament, you find it in Old Testament. It's all in there. And so, I just said, like I've always said it baffles me that people say the Old Testament's irrelevant, when if you don't know the Old Testament, you're not truly going to understand the New Testament. But let's go ahead and get started here in chapter 7, verse 1. There's no title on this one, so it's more than likely still kind of connected to the back end of 6. Not really, though. It's kind of its own thing, so it just doesn't have a title. It happens from time to time. Normally I have another Bible I look at, and it has the titles for certain chapters and stuff. And yeah, anyways, this DVD Bible that I'm getting the images from never has any titles. That's why I'll just say them. I try posting them in there from time to time back earlier, but yeah, it was way too much to do. So I just say what they are. But last chapter of Micah. Woe is me, for I am as when they have gathered the summer fruits, as the grape leanings of the vintage. There is no cluster to eat. My soul desired the first stripe fruit. Now, if you're talking about here, like the summer fruits, it's you desire the first part. I said first stripe fruit. As later on you get in the summer, it's all gone or withered away. So there's no, you don't know if you know what a cluster of grapes are, but yeah, they get pretty huge when you have very bountiful, vineyards and stuff. But anyways, let's continue on verse 2. The good man is perished out of the earth, and there is none upright among men. They all lie in wait for blood. They hunt every man his brother with a net. This is that dog-eat-dog world stuff I kept talking about before. That's what we're in America today, and we've been in that for quite some time, and it started when feminism came in, and men had to start battling each other trying to get a good-looking, decent, woman. And they were fooled then too, but that's when it started. But yeah, so anyways, let's continue on there, verse 3. That they may do evil with both hands earnestly. The prince asketh, and the judge asketh for a reward. And the great man, he uttereth his mischievous desire, so they wrap it up. The best of them is as a briar. The most upright is sharper than a thorn hedge. The day of thy watchmen and thy visitation cometh. Now shall be their perplexity. So, it's talking about, the same thing as God says, the best of us is nothing but filthy rags in the eyes of God. And here it's like in verse 4, it says, the best of them is as a briar, the most upright, sharper. It was like, it's like the best of them you have is going to hurt you. They're not going to be nice people. They're not going to do good. They're going to hurt you. And that's the best of them. The worst of them are flat out just fillet you in the street type. That's how the people had become. Just pure evil. Let's continue on to verse 5. Trust ye not in a friend. Put ye not confidence in a guide. Keep the doors of thy mouth from her that lieth in thy bosom. For the son dishonoureth the father, the daughter riseth up against her mother, the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies are the men of his own house. Now, we're in that today here in America. A lot of the rest of the world's been in that for quite some time. Now, Jesus said he came to divide families. Sons against fathers, daughters against mothers. But what Jesus is meaning in the New Testament is he's here to put a line in the sand and says, either you follow me or you follow the world. There's no in between. So it doesn't matter if you have an earthly father and an earthly mother. You still honor them. But if they're following the world and you're wanting to follow Christ, you're going to more than likely have to walk away from your own family members, because you're never going to see them again anyways when they pass away. They're not going to be part of God's kingdom. Now, this is the different part where it's like, there's no one honors each other no more. Honor is out the window. We read about the honoring of the daughter-in-law with the mother-in-law in the book of Ruth, and how God rewards that. But even today, like I said before, I've been married and divorced 3 times, and I don't think any one of my wives had anything nice to say about my mother. I didn't know that much about the Bible. That was a huge red flag. I didn't know. I missed it because I wasn't taught that, hey, if you're dating a girl sitting together and they're speaking bad about your mother, run. Don't even mess with them people. Don't. Just don't. Because they have no honor. If you're a man marrying a woman, your mother becomes their mother. That's why the woman takes the man's last name. She becomes part of that family. But, like, I grew up, my father didn't honor me. I tried to honor him, but, there was a lot of toxic stuff going on. And same thing between my sister and my mother. There was a lot of toxic stuff in our household, and it's like a lot of hypocrisy going on too. I wished I didn't have dyslexia and was able to read the Bible and understand it more when I was younger. I hate that it took me so long to be able to figure out how to learn by reading. Either or, I did finally learn, but it would have been a whole lot easier if I didn't have the problem to begin with. But yeah, anyways, continue on verse 7. Oh, also in New Testament times, it says, when the children are this way with their parents, this, that, and the other, and men are lovers of themselves, it says, when these things come to pass, look up. It's in Revelation, saying the end time is nigh. But let's continue on verse 7. Therefore I will look unto the Lord. I will wait for the God of my salvation. My God will hear me. Rejoice not against me, O mine enemy. When I fall, I shall arise. When I sit in darkness, the Lord shall be a light unto me. I will hear the indignation of the Lord, because I have sinned against him, until he plead my cause, and execute judgment for me. He will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. Then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her which said unto me, Where is the Lord thy God? Mine eyes shall behold her. Now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the streets. In the day that thy walls are to be built, in that day shall the decree be far removed. In that day also he shall come even to thee from Assyria, and from the fortified cities, and from the fortress even to the river, and from the sea to sea. And from sea to sea. I said from to, I don't know what I said. And from sea to sea, and from mountain to mountain. Notwithstanding, the land shall be desolate because of them that dwell therein, for the fruit of their doings. Feed thy people with thy rod, the flock of thine heritage, which dwells solitarily in the wood, in the midst of Carmel. Let them feed in Bashan and Gilead, as in the days of old. According to the days of thy coming out of the land of Egypt will I show unto him marvelous things. The nations shall see and be confounded at all their might. They shall lay their hand upon their mouth, their ears shall be deaf. They shall lick the dust like a serpent. They shall move out of their holes like worms of the earth. They shall be afraid of the Lord our God, and shall fear because of thee. Who is a God like unto thee, that pardoneth iniquity, and passeth by the transgression of the remnant of his heritage? He retaineth not his anger forever, because he delighteth in mercy. He will turn again. He will have compassion upon us. He will subdue our iniquities, and thou wilt cast all their sins into the depths of the sea. Thou wilt perform the truth of Jacob, and the mercy to Abraham, which thou hast sworn unto our fathers from the days of old. And that's the end of the lesson here. So, this part was, once again talking about they're being brought into judgment for being wicked and evil, doing very evil things, and that God will bring them back and, forgive them and make them great again, because he still has the promise that he made to Abraham and Jacob. So, like I said, that's the end of the lesson. And also the end of Micah. Yeah, Nahum is the next book. There's only 3 chapters in Nahum. And the way it's looking, it's going to be broken up in only 2. I should be able to do 2 chapters together, for 1 and 2, and then 3 by itself. Because I think there's 15 and then 13 verses in 1 and 2, and then I think there's 19 or what is it? 19 verses in chapter 3. Then that's it. Then Habakkuk is after that. Habakkuk only has 3 chapters. Yeah, we're willing it on down. Zephaniah's after that, 3 chapters. Haggai after that, 2 chapters. Zechariah after that, 14 chapters. Okay. Then you have the last book of the Old Testament, Malachi, 4 chapters. And then we'll be starting Matthew, New Testament, coming up. So, probably, I'd definitely say maybe within 3 months we'll be starting New Testament. For those that have been following along, that's been staying with me with all these teachings. Like I said, though, if you are new to this, I do recommend starting off at Genesis chapter 1 and getting caught up. But once we're finished with New Testament, I will be redoing Old Testament, because I've learned a lot since then, and we've learned it together. So, and that's what I plan on doing, is just every day do a Bible study if I can, and just keep going. It's that way you got the very old ones, you show growth. I may go through and just delete the old ones and keep the newer ones, or possibly keep the older ones. In your life, you need to show growth, that you're growing. And that's what someone helping with Bible study or helping teach the Bible, that's what our job is to do, is help you grow in the proper direction. You don't want to grow southward, you want to grow northward. And yeah, it is possible to grow the wrong direction. You end up with a crooked base, this, that, and the other, and you may eventually get straightened out, but you're always going to have that damaged base. Like I said, like there's some things that's at the point of no return that you're just stuck with, and you got to now learn to live with things that happened in your life. And it's probably going to affect you in a negative way for the rest of your days. But I will say for men today, make sure you have a good, firm foundation of friends. Do not rely, unless you know for a fact that you have a godly woman in your life, for most of your life, do not rely on a woman, not in today's time, to be there for you. Your friends will. A good woman will understand that you need a strong friend base. As long as those friends don't try to get you in trouble all the time, being bad friends, but you know better, you know what to do there. But like I said, modern women, unless they start changing and getting rid of the divorce court and family court and all this other stuff and no fault divorce, it's going to be very hard. Like the Bible even said here in the Old Testament, do not trust your friends. Do not trust people around you. In America today, we can't even trust our judicial system. You have pride people burning the American flag, it's fine. Then you have some other people cutting up a pride flag, and then I think in New York they got arrested and going to be charged with a hate crime. Like, what kind of crap is that? And like, do we have freedom in this country or not? I said you can't trust almost anything anymore. The only thing you can trust is Christ. So always know that the one you can trust is Christ. Always. But I'm going to go ahead and end this lesson here. So remember to pray. Pray for everything. Pray all the time, all day long. Always give thanks to the Lord. Remember to always be content and happy with what you do have, if your needs are met. You could have a lot less. But, don't worry about chasing things of this world, because nothing's going to be here one day. God promises that. He teaches that. You have to pray about yourself that you always stay on the right course. Pray for the lost, pray for the found. Pray for the weak, pray for the strong. Pray for everybody. Pray for countries and leaders of countries, politicians, judicial systems, all these places that are doing wickedness right now. Pray for them. Because I'd much rather for them to get right with God and start doing right, instead of just them being punished in justice. It's better to have people on your side doing right than just say, hey, you did wrong at one time, so you still need to be punished for it. Sometimes just you got to let some things go and says move on for a better tomorrow. So, always pray. So, until next time, God bless, good night, and goodbye.